Hello, my name is Marcia Johnson, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Together with my grandnieces and nephew, Allie, Ashley, and Ryan, we are Marcia's Crafts. Today we're going to be making this Climbing Roses card. That's the inside. You will need the Climbing Roses stamp set, and we will be using this image, the little rose, I Thought of You Today, and I think that's it. We'll also be using the rose Trellis Thinlits dies. We'll be using everything but this little rose. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. All of the measurements and the requirements, whatever you need, will be listed below the video. So please click on that. And first thing we're going to do is some stamping. Envelope this, and we'll be doing some cutting out with this piece here. First, let's just go ahead and stamp our envelope front, and we'll just be using the little rose and just like that. Next, we'll be stamping things to be cut out. The first one will be this big image. Stamp that, and this one is also in Smokey Slate. Stamp that right down here. I'm going to be using this again. And then we'll stamp our sentiment, also in Smokey Slate. And we're going to stamp it kind of at an angle because that's the way the die fits best on this paper. Go. Okay, and then we're going to stamp all over this Daffodil Delight piece, and we're going to be using that big stamp again. We're going to be like making our own DSP. So we'll just take this stamp and just stamp all over. And if you have any open spaces, you can take that little rose again and just fill them in. There, that should do it. Okay, and that should be all of our stamping. Remember, if you're coloring with blends on like an envelope or something, put a piece of paper on the inside because it will bleed. And what I did was I colored the whole flower first in the light Daffodil Delight. And then I just outlined the what looked like the shady parts in the dark Daffodil Delight. And pretty much just outlined whatever I thought needed some darkening. And then go over it again in the light, just to blend everything together. And then for the leaves, I didn't even bother with the dark. I just did the whole leaf just in the light. I thought it looked very nice. So there's our envelope. Then for this, I'm just going to color in a little bit, but essentially I just did the same thing. I colored like the whole flower in the light Daffodil Delight. Then went over in the dark and just kind of pretty much outline things, and then just, oh wait, I did that backwards. Let's do this one. Let's see, just this little one here. First you do it in the light. Have to forgive me today, I'm a little discombobulated. My little pup Romeo tore his doggy ACL, and so we spent part of the day in the emergency room on a Sunday, of course. He apparently is going to have surgery on Wednesday, so I'm just a little distracted today. Then you would go and just color in some of the lines and anything that you think needs accenting. And it doesn't look really good right now, and then go ahead and blend everything in. And then as with the other one, I tried doing a bunch of different things with the leaves, but they're so small, and I found they just look best if you just colored them in light old olive. And just do them all. It doesn't take that long. I'm not going to finish. You get the gist. Do remember to recap your blends so they don't dry out. If you did happen to make a mistake like I did, you can use the color lifter and lighten this one up, and then kind of add dark and then color it again with the light, and it won't look too bad. So anyway, just a thought. But what we will do now is I'll show you what we would do for our big shot work. I don't know, I seem to have lost my little Daffodil Delight piece. Okay, that piece is bigger than I need, but it's all right. For the Smokey Slate, we're going to do the trellis. So we put that on there. We put this around our sentiment. This goes around our image. And we'd also cut out this rose once in the Daffodil Delight, and then once again in the old olive, and also cut out these two leaves. So we'd run all this through the Big Shot, and through the miracle of YouTube, we already have it done. So now it's pretty much time to assemble. And here's our trellis. Here's our 2 sets of leaves, our sentiment, and our 2 roses, and then our other pieces. So what we're going to do with the roses is you're going to take your paper snips and you're going to cut around the rose, just cutting off the leaves, essentially. It just takes a second. There aren't that many of them. There we go. And I found the easiest way to attach the yellow to the green is to take your silicone mat and turn your yellow one over, add some glue to your mat, then take a sponge, and I usually keep my little sponge in this little bag and I use it over and over again. Then you just dip that in and pounce it on your flower, and then take it, and I use this little circle to line mine up. See that little circle there? You'll see that little circle on the bottom one too, and I just line those 2 up, and everything else seems to just magically go in place. So that's that, and we can use this again. Well, we might as well do it now. Take your sponge again and just do the same thing on the back of your image, and then take the inside of your card and just put it down in the corner. I've already added the inside to this card, and that's the way our inside looks. Next, we're going to add our old olive layer to the front. Just a little second to adjust that. There we go. It's just a tiny little border. Then add the Daffodil Delight layer that we stamped. Next, we'll put some glue on the back of our trellis, and I just took a little bit and just added it on the ends and just dabbed it down the sides just a little bit. It doesn't really need very much, and then just dab some in the middle, or you could do what I did before with the sponge too. Then we're going to put this on the left hand side, kind of equal distant top to bottom. I'm going to take our sentiment and put dimensionals on it and dimensionals on our main image. And I'd use quite a few because you don't want it to sag. I cut some pieces of the edges because they're smaller and they can go on those little parts that kind of stick out, but we do want to keep them from sagging. So let's take the backs off. Okay, we'll put this at the bottom left with just some of the trellis showing behind it. And then we'll put our sentiment up towards the top on the right. And I took these 2 little leaves and pretty much pulled off the stems, added a little glue, and stuck one on the top and one on the bottom. And that's pretty much it. So there we have the card we made today, my example. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry I'm a little frazzled today, but stuff happens. Anyway, if you want to buy any of these supplies, you can do that at marciascrafts.stampinup.net. And we would love your business. Hope you have a great day. See you later in the week, I hope. Bye-bye.